Hey everybody, this is Mike at AirGunMods. I'm going to try to do about an 8-minute video on the installation of the two-piece breech with the Pic Rail on a Crosman 1377. This is one of the older classics, really good gun. So here we go, pretty easy I think. First thing we'll do is we'll take the rear sight and breech screw out. Comes right out. Now you should be able to put this breech on without having to remove any accessories you have on the end, whether a moderator or the factory sight. That should be doable. So what we're going to do is we're going to remove we're going to remove the lower breech screw, and you need to put pressure on the end cap because it is spring loaded. That's the hammer spring in there. We'll pull that screw out. I don't use a slotted screwdriver for that. I use the number 2 square bit because it is much less likely to damage the slot. We'll release that end cap, take the spring out. Now we'll be able to pull the bolt handle all the way back and reveal the breech screw. That is a .050 Allen key. I use dynamite tools because it just doesn't strip these screws out. And we're just going to loosen that. Now, when I do that, I leave the small screw on the tool so I don't lose it. It's a tiny one. Now, underneath here is a port. It's a small steel port that is the air transfer. So for now, we're going to leave that in. We're going to slide the barrel out. And this older model of the 1377 has this rail. And what you could do is trim it down because the breech is much longer. You could trim that down, but for this demonstration, I'm not going to do that. All right, so the next thing to do is to insert the barrel into the breech. It's got a little bit of oil on it, so I'm going to kind of rub it off a little bit. This is the port that the air transfers from the valve through into the barrel. So what we're going to do is we're going to line that port up and place that barrel in, and it gets pretty tight at the very end of its travel, and that's on purpose to keep everything lined up. And I'm just turning the barrel back and forth a bit to get that port to be lined up. So it's lined up vertically. Now the kit does come with an Allen key to tighten these screws down, but for my purposes, I'm going to use another one of the dynamite tools, and I'm just going to turn it until it just snugs the barrel. You don't need to wear it out by going too tight. Just until you feel it engage the barrel. These set screws bite pretty good, so you don't need to wear it out. Okay, so we've got that done. Now what we're going to do is we're going to install the factory bolt handle, which comes out by just holding the breech upside down and lift up on the bolt upward, and the bolt comes out. Now, if you have an aftermarket bolt, you can use it too, but for our purposes today, we're just going to use a used one. The breech has a slight swipe of a special grease designed to work with the type of plastics that we print these from. So you just lay the bolt in, and the cocking slot is going to go to the left. You drop it in with the nose first, and then grab it with your thumb and push on this end, and it'll snap into place. And the bolt now should work relatively smoothly. And that works real smooth. All right, so now the trick is going to be to insert the barrel and line the port up with the port in the barrel. At the same time, the hammer, you should push the hammer forward just a little bit and push the bolt all the way forward. That gives you room for the cocking pin to fit in the slot, the port to fit into the barrel port, and the barrel to slide in. So it takes a little finesse. We'll line that up. You got to keep this kind of close. And we're just going to work it in. And you'll need to take a close look at the port to make sure it gets lined up. It should be just about when the tail end, there's about a 1/16 of an inch between the back edge of the breech and the air tube. So that's seated pretty good. Now when we open this up, that hole should be directly lined up. So we'll get our screw, and this is where it gets a little fiddly sometimes. Oh, there goes, it grabbed now. And we're gonna run that breech screw all the way down. And again, you don't need to just wear it out by tightening it up too much. You do need it tight enough that it clears the bolt. If you go too tight, or if you try to tighten it too much with that tiny Allen key, you will, these things strip really easily. So the gun is operating really smoothly. It's locking up good. There shouldn't be any leaks at all through the port. The breech is on good and tight. And now we will take the screw that held your rear side on, pull that out of there. Drop it in the back. Well, actually, what we're going to do first, I'm sorry, I'm back up, Mike, getting ahead of myself. Drop the hammer spring in and pull the trigger so the hammer is all the way forward. We're going to lay the cap on here. We're going to kind of see if we can line, it doesn't need to be dead on, but to align the threaded hole in the end cap with this hole. Drop that screw in, and then you'll be able to feel when it's actually catching, because it'll kind of slightly twist that end cap. There it goes. It grabbed it now. I'm running it down. Again, you don't have to wear everything out. Just get it nice and snug. And now we'll put this rear grip frame screw in, and that cotton good. Sometimes you may need to loosen one, get one started, and then tighten them both. So we get that in. I'm going to do one more little tighten here. This gun is not pumped up, but so there it is. There's the installation. Again, on an older model of the 1377, I don't think the 1322 ever had it. They had this spacer. So in your installation, you could trim that spacer to match between your front sight piece and the AirGunMods breech. It's good and solid. Adding your red dot sight. You can straddle the port with your scope rings if you're putting a scope on it. But very sturdy. Seals up really good, locks up nice and tight, and it uses the factory bolt. Like I said, you can use an aftermarket bolt if you had one, or you like a longer bolt handle. Using the factory bolt handle it'll save you maybe $25 or $30 on your little build. And so there you have it. If you have any questions, you're welcome to get a hold of me through our online store and through eBay. We make other models of this breech. We make one that has a regular 11mm rail, and it's basically the same except the rail. Small, lightweight scopes. On one of my guns, I have this setup, which is a really lightweight little 4-power scope, and I have it on a carbine version. This doesn't weigh but just a couple of ounces. It's available in the flat dark earth or the black. And currently the Pic Rail model is not available in the flat dark earth, but we might print a few of those and put them for sale on our eBay channel or on our online store. So thanks for checking out the our AirGunMods long Picatinny breech. And everybody stay safe, and we'll see y'all soon.